and welcome to Little Learners. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about how you as a parent or carer can raise a concern with a teacher. Before we get started, do click that subscribe button so that you can see more videos like this, and if you do find the video helpful at any point, please do click that thumbs up button as it really helps out the channel. Now, as a teacher, I have dealt with many different types of parents, different concerns and different ways that parents have gone about raising these concerns. Your child is the most important thing to you in the entire world. And so emotions can run quite high when you're concerned about something. So maybe you're concerned about the relationship your child has with another child, or maybe you're upset about the way a teacher dealt with something. Sometimes it feels like the only thing to do is just go in and really tell that teacher how you feel, shout at them, get it all out because you're feeling really emotional and you want them to know how angry you are about the situation. However, this is of course not the appropriate way to approach this and doesn't help anyone. So, if you have a concern, the first thing you'll want to do is contact the teacher. Maybe you see them at pick up or drop off, or maybe you want to email them, however you might contact them. Tell them, I have a concern about XYZ that I'd really like to discuss with you. Could we please have a meeting, or if you have some time after school one day, could I just pop in and talk to you? It's important that you have the space and the time to really get off your chest what you want to talk about, and that there aren't other parents and children around, because it's really not appropriate for them to be hearing what you're discussing. If you try to talk to a teacher without letting them know that you want to talk to them, they might not have the amount of time you need to discuss it, and it can leave you feeling like you're not being listened to when actually the teacher wants you to be heard. They just don't have the time right now. So, asking to schedule a meeting can be really helpful. It might also be helpful to write down some points that you want to discuss. If you're feeling a bit emotional about it, or if you're worried that you're going to miss something, write down what you want to talk about. If you feel yourself getting angry during a meeting and you feel that you're raising your voice, it's time to stop. This can be a really emotional time for you, and it's important to remember that it is not appropriate to shout at a teacher, to be offensive or hostile towards them. They want the best for your child, you want the best for your child, and you want to be working together. Now, I can see things from the teacher and the parent perspective, and so I know that not only can these meetings be very difficult for a teacher, because you don't want to let parents down, and it can be sometimes a bit frightening if a parent is very angry and is being very hostile towards you, but I also know from a parent's perspective how difficult it can be when you feel that your child isn't getting the best of what they deserve. If you feel that a meeting isn't going well, or you're not getting out of it what you need, then you may want to schedule another meeting with the teacher and the head teacher to discuss your concerns. Now, keep in mind that when you have this meeting with the teacher, they may be just keeping notes of what you're saying and might not be able to have a resolution or an answer for you straight away. So they might write notes down and say that they're going to get back to you. If they do this, it's perfectly reasonable for you to ask when you can expect them to be getting back to you. What kind of time frame are you looking at? Please remember that teachers do have a lot of commitments, so it may be that they need a few days, or it may be that they will get back to you next week, depending on the severity of the issue. If you want to have a further meeting with your class teacher and the head of year or a head teacher, then that is perfectly fine, and you can schedule one of those. You may want to write a letter and send that in to the head teacher to explain what you want to come in and talk about, so that they are prepared and they know what you want to talk about from your perspective rather than just from the teacher's perspective. And I think it's really important to go into these meetings not feeling like you are enemies. You need to be there to work together. Now, this being said, if you feel really strongly that the school is not doing what they need to be doing for your child, if you feel that their safety is at risk, or if you feel that they are not having adequate support that they need, if you have a really big concern and you feel like it's not being resolved, then that is important to raise. So if you have a meeting with the teacher and the head teacher, for example, and you're still not happy, you can write a letter to the governors, and that will raise this concern. So the governors are a body of people who oversee everything that's going on in the school. They are usually made up of parents and professionals from the local area, and they want the very best for the school and its students. So if you write a letter to them, that will really escalate things and hopefully will help you to resolve the issue. Hopefully you don't have to go through any of that. Hopefully you can just talk to the class teacher and get a resolution. But I want to make it really clear that it is never appropriate to shout at a teacher or to threaten them or to make them feel really, really uncomfortable, just as it's not appropriate for them to treat you that way. Now, as a teacher, I can say that I have personally experienced that, and it's horrible. It really ruins the relationship between the teacher and the family, not the teacher and the student, because we would never, blame the student for something that's going on between the teacher and parents or carers, but it really, really makes things a lot more difficult. So you have a problem that you want to resolve, and now it's even harder to resolve that because the parent or carer has been very hostile, and that just makes things a lot more difficult. If you want to write a letter or an email to a teacher about your concern, my advice would be to write it first, read through it, leave it for an hour, maybe even a day, and come back to it. Read through it and see if it's really getting across what you want to get across. Or have you just spilled out your emotion and actually it's not quite how you want to come across? The letter or email that you might have written may come across really hostile, and that's not what you want at all, but because you are feeling so upset and angry about this situation, it's kind of spilled onto the page. So give yourself some time away from it, come back and edit it if appropriate. I really hope that this video has been helpful. I hope that it's given you some really useful tips on how to raise concerns with teachers. If you want to see more videos like this, please do click that subscribe button, and if you did find the video helpful, give it a like, as it really helps out the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.